Good afternoon and welcome to Hitbox's 4K Heroes event. We are live from the studio here and we're going to have 4 teams battling it out for their share in $4,000 of prize money. More importantly, this is coming at you in 4K ultra high definition at 60 frames per second, something never before done in esports. And we're looking forward to seeing all the beautiful detail that you can possibly get your hands on today in this show match. I'm Jorisar, I'll be your host this evening, and I'm joined by 2 of the best commentators in the business. Joining me on the couch tonight, we have Khaldor and Techa, who are going to be providing your commentary as well as the analysis from this evening. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. Very excited for today's match, especially, of course, since we have that ongoing rivalry between Fnatic and TeamLiquid, and both of them want to go to the finals again to once again go up against each other, yeah?
Absolutely. It's not the only rivalry we have here, though, due to the fact that we have the El Clasico of Gamers 2, or G2 Esports back in. So even them against TeamLiquid would be a pretty hyped old matchup. And we get to see it in more pixels than ever before.
Yeah, they kind of freaked us out a little bit earlier, telling us that we are going to see, our viewers are going to see every single detail. The makeup lady did her best, but we are a little bit scared still. So, yeah.
We were just looking at our shirts, just like trying to pick off every little bit of anything.
Very critically afterwards, and was just like, yeah, I can really tell she put a lot of effort in, but apparently she's still not happy. But yeah, so at this point, well, the Heroes game, at least, that's going to be a pretty sight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the detail. And for those of you at home wondering, well, hang on a second, I'm on my normal computer monitor, I'm on my TV. What do I actually need to go ahead and take a look at this stream in 4K? Well, the list of requirements conveniently on your screen here. First of all, there's no getting around. You do need a pretty quick connection to take advantage of it. You're looking in the region of between 15 and 20 megabits per second. You then don't actually need a 4K TV. There are plenty of monitors, especially the newer ones out on market now, where you can get resolutions of up to greater than 1080p resolution. And a lot of these are going to be able to see the extra detail that we're broadcasting in today. The important thing is everything is captured and shot on 4K here, which means that that quality gets filtered down to wherever you are. You can even have 1080p monitors that sample 4K streams and are able to enhance that detail that way. And then finally, you also want to make sure you're sitting on a pretty beefy CPU as well. So if anyone is sitting at home on a Celeron Core 2 Duo, now might be the time to think about an early Christmas present, because this is here to stay and qualities of streams are only going to get higher from here on out. So we hope you enjoy the broadcast. We want to hear your feedback as well. Of course, you can hashtag 4K Heroes on Twitter. Let us know what you think about the event. Make sure you give your feedback to Hitbox as well. They're at Hitbox Live. Now, away from 4K, enough about that. Let's take a look at the schedule and what we're going to be going into in just a bit. So first off, we have TeamLiquid taking on TCM Gaming. That particular game is going to start imminently. That will be a best of 5. We're then moving into G2 Esports, who play against Fnatic. And after that, we have a third place playoff. Now, a slight tweak there. The third place playoff is going to be a best of 3 as opposed to a best of 5. And we then get into the final to finish things off. So, I mean, TeamLiquid and Fnatic, of course, the arguable heavyweights of Europe here, but the other teams might be able to give them a run for their money if they happen to be here on a good day. Techa, Khaldor, do we have, is there anything that you particularly want to see from any one of these teams?
Well, I actually think that especially when it comes to TeamLiquid and Fnatic, there's a high chance that they are going up against each other again today. And in this particular setup here, they've played several matches against each other. We saw them at DreamHack, we saw them at the Fragment Masters final. So they had so many matches already, and so far Fnatic is slightly ahead. But TeamLiquid was always on the verge of taking them down, so that could be a very cool final. Then again, we also have with Gamers 2 a team that is very consistent in the way that they're playing with a lineup that has been around for a long time, even since beta.
They are probably like the old guard nowadays. Almost every other team has changed. They have changed their roster before, but they're at the moment definitely one of the more solid rosters of players who've been together for a very long time.
They feel a little bit like I don't really want to call it a slump or anything, but these days they're struggling a bit more than they were before. They're still they have a scary lineup, and they're a team that on a good day can definitely beat anybody out there. But the last 2-3 weeks were very much so more about TeamLiquid and Fnatic, especially, of course, since both of the teams changed the lineup significantly after Prague.
Now, when you guys talk about lineup changes as well, you mentioned post-Prague, we have had those roster changes. They obviously play a significant impact. You can have teams that have 5 incredibly strong individual players, and if they don't gel quite as well as a team, they don't put in those kind of performances. Are there any particular players or any roster swaps that you're looking at here, not just in Liquid and Fnatic, but maybe players that other teams have brought in that you think might actually make a difference here that could spring a surprise?
The most exciting one definitely has to be, or the most one relevant here, is a almost direct swap from a player from, you said maybe not TeamLiquid and Fnatic, but LoL from Fnatic went to TeamLiquid. So the rivalry between those teams is very apt, considering that we still have members from the Fnatic roster that LoL was a part of.
Sure.
And now he gets to play against them on a fairly regular basis at this point.
Well, yeah. And then do we have anything particularly of note with TCM and G2 that we might be looking forward to?
Well, the thing is with G2, as we already said, they have a very stable lineup. The last player that they really switched out was when Bashek entered the team, and it's already a few months back. So they were the only team that went to Prague or participated in the road to BlizzCon and did afterwards not change a player out. So that's already pretty impressive. When we're talking about TCM, they had a few changes just recently. It was always that solid core that you had, where we had especially Ace of Spades with Holocorantes and also Tasdingo, and they were for like ages looking for 2 more players that they really wanted to add to the setup. They went to a huge number of tryouts. They had a complete different lineup than that went to DreamHack, where they had also to play with substitute players because a few of the core lineup couldn't make it. But recently, Tasdingo actually left the team, is not with them anymore, decided to go down a different path. So they are still a bit in flux. They're playing with Ramapala and Chrisplosion now, if I'm not mistaken, as a part of the fixed setup. So for them, it's really, they're very strong players that we have seen on a lot of different setups already, and they are definitely good enough to take these teams down.
Sure.
For them, it's just a matter, do they have the consistency right now? Do they really get the practice time in with that new setup completely, or do they still need a bit of time to really hit their stride?
All right. Well, we're going to be getting first, of course, into our game between TeamLiquid and TCM Gaming. The teams are ready to enter their picks and drafts, picks and bans even. So let's head on into the draft screen. Khaldor, Tetra, over to you guys.
Yeah, our first map is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. That's where the teams are going to start off. Of course, we have a best of 5 series happening here. And we are seeing TeamLiquid with the first ban. So currently we're talking about Kel'Thas and also Tyrande as the bans, which is like the normal way to start a draft. Kel'Thas is already banned out here. TeamLiquid would love to go into that Tyrande. And TCM at this point just has to decide, do they go for the standard ban and ban out Tyrande, or are they good? Okay. They already decide that question and are saying, like, you know what? No, we are not okay going up against her. She's just too strong, too flexible,
too versatile. She's like the old, Tassadar in the way that he used to be a sort of secondary support. You never ran him as a solo support back in the original alpha days, but he was a very strong damage dealer, but did still provide protection for the team.
Now we have for TeamLiquid a Falstad taken first, and that's already a very interesting start into the draft. Not because Falstad is a bad hero or anything, but because you can really tell how Falstad is becoming more and more important in the European scene. When you look over the edges of Europe and you look at the North American and the Chinese scene, Falstad is not really as popular over there as he is in Europe. And it came to a point where Falstad even is banned out sometimes. So TeamLiquid locks down good damage and mobility on the map, and that opens up a Tassadar for TCM. They could have gone into an Uther and ETC combo here as well. They have so many options of how they can play this right now. A Muradin could be thrown in as well. So at this point, this is a very interesting start into the draft and mixes things already slightly up.
Yeah, the Tassadar to start off with, this is something TCM have been doing quite a bit. They really like that Tassadar pick. Is very, very strong for them. And like you were talking about, the Muradin pick coming in, very solid warrior. He's good against those auto-attack focused heroes like the Falstad, if he can get up in their face to get that reverberation down.
So ETC Uther would be something that TeamLiquid can go for. It is very powerful, but it's already interesting to see that TCM actually decided to go into that Tassadar combo here. ETC is being picked. Now the only question that TeamLiquid has to answer is if they really want to play Uther, and they do. So they have now this combo with the Divine Shield into the Mosh Pit. When we're looking at TCM, on the other hand, it's not really the draft that you see in the European scene too often. Tassadar is still more valued in North America and also especially in China, where he is even banned out. But he offers a lot of flexibility to the team that picks him early on. But that already shows that TCM is absolutely okay going up against that ETC and Divine Shield composition. And that is a very, very scary comp. So that shows a lot of confidence into that draft and also into their ability to really dodge this combo.
Yeah, and that is the whole point, the dodging of the combo. They have the Muradin for interrupting that mosh pit, but they also have currently both their heroes able to get out of it if they react quick enough. The dimensional shift from Tassadar will allow him to phase out of that mosh pit if he hits it quick enough. And Muradin has that unstoppable dwarf toss to get that situation. And TCM going to be banning out the other mage here. TeamLiquid already has a super powerful auto attack assassin. Adding that AoE damage from Jaina to combine with a mosh pit would be devastating for them if they got caught.
I could see a Sonya ban now for TeamLiquid, since she would be very nice with Malfurion and with Tassadar. There's a couple of things that you can ban out. It doesn't really have to be the Sonya, but she is definitely one of the heroes that TCM is currently thinking about, and I could see that happening. For me personally, it's also interesting to see that Jaina ban, because she's not really that high in priority anymore in Europe. But the reason that TCM bans her out is that this Divine Shield mosh pit is absolutely brutal, and TeamLiquid is very good at hitting that. And if
Yeah.
you're able to put that in, then having that Jaina with the Ring of Frost, with the Cone of Cold, and also the Blizzard can just annihilate everything that is being caught there. So they just want to play this safe. I guess normally they wouldn't have banned her out here, but if TeamLiquid really picks her up, then the potential to end up in a team wipe situation is too high. So they're just saying, okay, better safe than sorry, get rid of her. And TeamLiquid in this case is not banning out the Sonya, but they're trying to to make sure that TCM cannot counterplay the mosh pit.
Yeah, the Sanctification from that Tyrael could be a very good counterplay to that mosh pit, giving everyone invulnerability, which also makes them unstoppable to get out of mosh pit in that way, and also will protect against any kind of burst damage that we would get from anyone like the Khaldor if you tried to focus someone down. It also works really well with the Sonya you were talking about earlier, so banning him out means Sonya's going to have a bit less protection, and there she is picked up by TCM here, so we'll likely see another support, but we have seen Tassadar solo supports running with the Sonya before. There's the Reyna, so very auto-attack focused, so we're definitely going to see Leeching Plasma coming in from the Tassadar.
So this is pretty much what we said when what would happen if Sonya is not banned out. She is taken immediately, and TeamLiquid, I mean, the problem that they have is you run ETC Mosh Pit plus Uther Divine Shield. If you then get countered by a Tyrael, you basically wasted 2 of your heroic abilities and you got countered by 1. So you are in a disadvantageous situation. And there is a pick that we have seen for TeamLiquid a couple of times already. They really like to play Thrall these days, especially if they have that Uther. It's a very popular hero now. Once again, Green Jesus entering the arena, and we have Sylvanas together with that. So a very cool setup to actually round this up. By the way, the other day somebody mentioned to me that we should actually not call him Green Jesus, even though that's the World of Warcraft reference.
Yeah.
But with his Sundering, he's more like Green Moses.
Ah, I see, I get it.
It was very clever, I liked it.
I get it, I like it as well, but we have to think here there is a very large amount of damage with that Sundering. Once a mosh pit ends, you're usually like, okay, mosh pit about to end, I can turn around and start killing. Suddenly a Sundering stunned out for a little bit longer, and with the Sylvanas coming in with that Wailing Arrow, it's going to, 1, prevent other people from interrupting the mosh pit, like that Brightwing, for instance, and 2, is a little bit of extra burst damage to add into this.
Personally, I like the Brightwing as the add-on to Tassadar a lot, because you have really a lot of shields that you can stack, and then you have the heals as well. When it comes to the final 2 picks that we have for TeamLiquid, it just shows something that's currently happening in the drafts in general. At first, you have you're trying to go for the first 2 or 3 heroes for your core setup, and then you really have a lot of options where you can go from there. So the start of the draft is very similar in most cases now. It depends only on which teams are going to be banned by, or which heroes are going to be banned by the teams, based on personal preference, mostly. But then if you have the last 2 or 3 picks, this is really where you have the diversity coming in. Because TeamLiquid, they chose to go into Sylvanas and then also into the Thrall. They could have chosen a Zagara here, easily, great vision on the map, and could have comboed that off with a bit more damage, with the second damage dealer as well if they wanted to. So it just shows that at this point you're so flexible with that already that core setup, that you have so many different ways to branch out on. And they went in this case in a very, very aggressive way for a combo that is designed to just like jump the opponent.
Yep, that's exactly what we saw. A lot of jump potential. The ETC Uther, like you said, picked up straight away so that they could get that kind of combination going. And from TCM, going with the Muradin to start off with, mostly as the counter and just as a solid pick to go with Tassadar, because if they'd gone for Sonya that early, then that would have given TeamLiquid the chance to maybe pick ETC and the Muradin to try and counteract the Sonya or something like that and just have it counted out. So TCM were getting the core of their composition, but not in a huge rush. They didn't want to make it easily countered, so the Muradin was a safer pick for them there.
Muradin is also, at this point, probably the best solo tank that you have in the game.
Yeah.
ETC is also extremely strong, but he is also a tank that you always want to try and combo something off with. You either play him together with a Tyrande, you're trying to play him together with an Uther. You really rely heavily on that mosh pit to really hit that properly. Whereas that Muradin is just one of those picks. Muradin fits into any composition. There's not a single composition out there where you cannot play a Muradin. He offers the sustain at the front line, he has the interrupt, he's great against auto attackers thanks to his reverberation in the Thunderclap. Then you have him with that sustain Stoneform on 16, it's crazy.
And
this
even
guy
his heroic,
is so
the
good.
extra 2,000 health second he hits that R button. in the once he hits level 10, suddenly he goes from a solid tank who can run in, take some damage, jump out, and regain all his health thanks to his trait, to a just indestructible person who's not even going to get to the point where he has to jump out a lot of the time and will just ruin your day.
Yeah, and of course, especially since you can also then use the stone from after avatar, which gives you even more health.
Yeah, oh, my avatar's run out. Let me just activate this huge self-heal I have.
And the next thing is, of course, you have that mini stun on the avatar too, and that works
Oh,
against
man.
so many heroes. If you, for example, have a Sonya that is trying to go with Whirlwind, she gets a lot of sustain out of this, thanks to the Life Leech, and then you have a Muradin, just like a little right click, and there goes your cooldown. So in that case,
Yeah.
it's super, super annoying. Muradin is just like very, very good.
Yeah, it's very irritating to fight a Muradin as a Sonya due to the fact that it's like, okay, thanks to a couple patches back, I now have the perfect timing. Auto W, auto W. And suddenly Muradin comes in and it's like, well, now I can't do anything because one, I'm slowed down, so my timing is out from my on my W and on my auto attacks. And two, he's stunning me every time I try. So it just completely ruins your timing and you have to rely a lot more on your W than your autos.
When we talk about Thrall as a melee assassin, he has kind of taken the role of Illidan a bit, who has fallen off just recently. We actually saw a few Illidan games in the last week, but still, Thrall is currently the superior melee assassin. And there's also different ways how you can play him. We've been casting a lot of the games in the Chinese scene as well, and they focus on chain lightning builds on him. Whereas in the European scene, at least so far, we mostly see season marksman taken on level 1, and then you just head into those wind shear talents later on a level 13 and level 7.
It's very much a European style, where if we have a melee assassin, we want our melee assassin to be up front in the fight and surviving a lot of the time. Like with Illidan, almost all of his talents are survivability ones. With Thrall, once again, in this case, it's all about the damage because he comes with his own survivability in the form of his Frostwolf Resilience. Whereas from the Chinese scene, like you said, they can poke from range and just get him up to full health before they go in for that engagement.
The cool thing with TeamLiquid is that they were actually the ones who played also Illidan, the ones, and the drafts right now allow so many cool things. Because back in the days when you knew that Illidan was like the pick, you always try to make sure that you have a Muradin, that you have a Brightwing, that you have a
Steal the Uther from
Sylvanas.
them, do what you can.
You want to have something that can really counter him. And now with how the drafts work, depending on the spot, if you're first pick, first banner, if you start second, you can actually secure a lot of these heroes that I've just mentioned and then go into a last pick on Illidan that nobody really saw coming. And your opponent's just looking at the remaining heroes and says like, well, we have a nice setup, but we have nothing to really counter Illidan.
Yeah, that's the point of that's a huge thing about the support buffs that we did see. Every support is now really good. So you can't be like, okay, well, they're going for the Uther, so it's very like they're picking Illidan because now you can pick Illidan with a Brightwing or even with a Kharazim if you're really ballsy with a Rhaegar, which used to be the most popular or at least the second most popular pick for Illidan.
I still think that Rhaegar is actually quite underplayed in Europe. I've been seeing him a lot in China, I've been seeing him a lot in North America, and I like the hero. Not in every composition. We could see him a bit more often. I've seen a few teams start to scrim with Rhaegar again and try to get something out of him.
The thing
but
is, that's the thing. He's not underpowered. He's just not in the European meta at the moment. He's not fitting in with the compositions.
Well, as we said, game number 1 is starting, so a Battlefield of Eternity. We're going to jump in, and well, there we have it already. We see in this case currently Lucifron playing ETC to the left side of the map. For TeamLiquid, we have Vortex on Fossad. It is Lowell on Thrall, of course, on the melee assassin. Chris is playing Sylvanas, and Gerd Amherd is playing Uther. To the right side of the map, Devis on Tassadar for TCM, Ace of Spades and Brightwing. We have Bremerball on Sonya, Olo Corantus on Reyna, and Chris Explosion is playing Muradin.
And starting off with the level 1 talents, we do in fact see Thrall going for that season marksman as well as Falstad and Raider. So going to be a very heavy stacking game here for a lot of heroes. Tassadar, despite the fact that the globe game is not super great on this map, going with that Conjurer Pursuit as well as Muradin here. And we're going to see a very early push thanks to Sylvanas with that delay there, with that push onto the tower to try and hold it for a bit.
It's super popular now if you have a Sylvanas that you try to go onto lane and take a tower down before the fight even starts. And normally the team that is going up against Sylvanas is just trying to make sure that they guess which lane you're going to go for and try to counterplay that.
And we did actually see that a very good job from TCM on that one, able to interrupt that come up very quickly. And we do see, we see Falstad going down very quickly, so he's going to be delayed on his stack game for quite a while. We see the barbed shot coming in from Sylvanas, so she's going to be very aggressive in pushing down these lanes and on working on these Immortals.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting to see that Sylvanas is one of my favorite heroes to showcase slight differences between Europe and North America, because in the European scene with the Wind is normally the level 1 talent choice for her. If you look on the other hand at North America, Barb Shot is nearly exclusively what you're going to see over there. TeamLiquid then on the other hand has now started to go back into Barb Shot, which was for a long time a great talent to take on maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen, but also here can add quite a bit of value to the setup.
Yeah, and we see TeamLiquid at the moment very, very scared of this incredibly tough roaming gang squad playing very far back in their lane because they do not see where the enemy heroes are and just sticking as near to their gate as possible without missing XP. But Miniwave is still quite high health, so they didn't need to move that far forward.
And of course, we have at this point also TCM in a bit of an underdog position. TeamLiquid here, they are the favorite, but TCM, they can make something happen. They have with Davis today a hero or a player that is, I assume, subbing in since they just lost Testingo. I don't really think that he's a fixed part of the lineup yet, but he is extremely strong. We've seen him for several other teams, and this is going to be not an easy game for TeamLiquid. It's always dangerous to go up against a new team, especially with players that have been around for a long time. If you still have that honeymoon phase going on, a team can definitely use that momentum to maybe get a few surprises in.
Yeah, TCM have been stepping up their game pretty much every time that they play recently. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do in this tournament and how they go from then. Having a look at the level 4 talents, which have been hit by TCM first, thanks to that early kill and the good lane presence they have, we unsurprisingly do see the leeching plasma coming in from that Tassadar and the unstable anomaly coming in from the Brightwing. So that could combine with the Critterize later on, or it could just be a bit of extra damage due to the fact that fighting in this Immortal area, you're going to be quite grouped up a lot of the time, and Tassadar not able to dodge out the way of that Immortal stun there.
Yeah, so at this point, once again, the Immortal is nearly down. Great job by both of the teams, but it looks like for now at least, it is going to be TeamLiquid with the first Immortal here. We're having right now, as you can see, moving down to the bot lane. Already up at the top, we have a double lane though. So there is a bit of a push happening on the side of TeamLiquid. They are trying to push with the Immortal, but it's still the first one that we are seeing here, so it's not going to be as strong.
Yeah, and a talent choice that we should have mentioned, we're seeing double Envenoms here coming in from the Thrall and the Sylvanas, both of them going for that very lovely burst damage.
Yeah, and also Unstable Anomaly once again, we're currently seeing here for the extra damage, of course. Here comes again the Immortal moving in, and we have a double focus attack here too. Of course, Karazim is going to focus on those shields. The double Envenom, as already mentioned by Tetra, is going to be quite nice when both of these heroes are start to really focus on the target together. With ETC going for that power slide talents and not going into proc rock together with groupies, we have a bit more utility out of him. Yeah. And with that attempt to go into an Uther Divine Shield for the mosh pit, that makes, of course, a whole lot of sense to try to utilize those two talents as well.
Yeah, getting that extra range and extra speed is pretty devastating when you're trying to get a good mosh pit down. And once again, we said this map at least, isn't a huge focus on the globes compared to some of the others. So it is better off to go for the slide than it is for that frog rock to get that healing in.
Yeah.
Ooh, ETC trying to deal with it. Almost dashes off the point there. Needs to be very careful.
Yeah, but he's back on again, and they are pushing them back, especially with Lowell starting to move in once again. He's already on the way back into lane. Down to the bottom, of course, we are also seeing that false set now together with Tassadar still fighting their battle. The level 7s are going to come into play any second now, and we are going to start getting closer to the level 10s, which is going to be incredibly important. But before that happens, we will have another Immortal on map.
Yeah, the Immortals will be starting up quite soon. For now, both teams just trying not to get ganked. Chris moving quite far forward, but not too far. As we are missing Sonya, we can see, due to the fact that we have Observer vision, that she was in fact taking that Bruiser camp. But Sylvanas not willing to take the risk, whereas the rest of Liquid roam down to the bot lane, looking for a kill, but not going to find them. Instead, will grab the Sieges hit.
Yeah, they go for the Khaldor camp now, and with the level 7 talents that we have in play, we of course also going to see that Kala's Embrace for Tassadar for the preloads on the shield. Super important talent for him to get. Once again, down here to the bottom, the camp is taken. Chrisplosion moves on, Holocarantus as well. They go for Get Him Here, he heals himself, moves away, gets out there without any problems. We have a full setup now at the bot lane for TCM. But that Sylvanas is still securing experience for TeamLiquid at the top lane.
Yeah, and she's doing it even more efficiently now thanks to her level 7 talent, that Unstable Poison, which combos super well with that Barb Shot talent that she did pick up at level 1. So she can clear the waves massively quickly. Luciferon moving quite far forward now. Chris Motion, the only one defending this, is actually getting stunned up, but good dwarf toss away from there to dodge out the power slide of Lucifron.
Yeah, so far both of the teams doing really well here. Ferocious healing on level 7 has been chosen on Sonya for a bit of sustain. Lucifron needs to be careful in his ETC though, moving away as we speak. Winchia has the level 7 talent on Thrall, so he's going to start with those auto attack talents with that and Fury. On level 13, it's very likely that we're going to see the same talent tree chosen again, but for now it's of course all about the Immortals in the map.
Yeah, and we see Lucifron moving back in onto this Immortal. Chris Motion has friends this time to try and help defend this, but Team Liquid are all here and they're in control. Get that Immortal to half health, and that will force the halftime show here. And it's going to be the Liquid Immortal that comes down to the bottom lane here, so you will see them start moving up. But TCM trying to zone them out here.
Yeah, so far a pretty even game actually. 1-0 kill for TCM, that's the only one that we've seen so far. And the Immortal is really starting to become quite important here. We have both of them down to 50% roughly. Team Liquid was again going onto lane for experience, and they have a slight lead now. But of course they need to make sure that they win or at least defend their own Immortal. They're moving in once again. Ooh. ETC with the power slide going for Tassadar, who phase shifts away. Vortex has to get out of here. Beast back and is going to fly in again. But we still have a bit of damage thanks to Sylvanas and also Thrall at the top Immortal.
Lucifron trying to time that Immortal. Oh, nice kill there by Chris. But Lucifron was trying to time that stun with the Immortal stun, but just didn't do it in time. How nice job in the top lane, able to grab that just in time.
Really well done. I mean, the flying on Force there, it was incredibly well played. Instead of trying to defend the own Immortal, he just flies to the top, realizes there's a chance to burst it down. He does exactly that. And now the situation for Team Liquid is fantastic. They have at the top lane again Sylvanas, and that is going to be a level 10 when that Immortal hits lane. So we are going to see an absolutely amazing push here for them. With the heroic ability that we now have in play, Sundering, Mosh Pit, Mighty Gust, Wailing Arrow, and Invitational have been chosen, and that's a very powerful setup now for the blue team.
Yeah, a huge amount of crowd control here. The Mosh Pit with the huge stun. Mighty Gust, the massive knockback. It looks like they're going to try and make that work. The Sundering is going to catch two members here. Here comes ETC. No Mosh Pit though. There's the Mighty Gust. No follow-up on it though. ETC just zoning out Raider, and Sylvanas will join in to help with that. Raider already taken down here. They're trying to get Muradin as well, but he will escape. Tassadar was not so lucky.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. He wanted to move through the gate, and then he gets another hit to the face, and down he goes. Now we have the rest of Team Liquid trying to break through the gate, and that Immortal is going full ham. Starts moving in as we speak, goes straight for the keep, another potential kill, and they take him down. Muradin is down, and with Sylvanas, you have so much pushing power now against these structures. They take down the keep. 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. The first keep has fallen, and Team Liquid is 2 levels ahead of TCM.
Yeah, 8 minutes, 1 Immortal, and already a keep down. An amazing job by Team Liquid. TCM, though, have hit their level 10s, and as such, we did see Liquid back up out of there. That Hyperion could be very key here for maybe zoning out Liquid and letting Sonya actually do her job.
Yeah, well, as you can see, the rotation down to the bottom of the map is currently happening for TCM. TCM is in a spot where the top lane is now with those catapults going to constantly push against them. They are very much so behind in experience. The level 13 talent is going to hit for Team Liquid very soon. So the only thing that TCM Gaming can do at this point is really make sure that they get the experience, stay passive, try to really just get the XP in, and not lose heroes. They are not allowed to lose Explosion here. Brightwing moves in for the save, but that level 13 talent's just around the corner. And of course, at that point, we are going to see Team Liquid in a very good spot where they can also fight for the next Immortal.
Yeah, Team Liquid getting quite aggressive here in this bottom lane. But remember, all are getting a lot of damage. Nice force wall onto the Uther. Good divine will keep him out. The Moshpit though catches 3 members. Gernher trying to get round behind, stuns out the Sonya to prevent her from helping here, and they've already taken down Tassadar, but the Mighty Gust is good as well. Down goes Raider too. They're trying to chase down Sonya and the Brightwing here. Brightwing gets taken out by the Wolf.
Unbelievable. A 4-man mosh pit. One of them actually caught behind ETC. Didn't even see that at first. And we have 4 heroes that he caught, and 3 of them now died. Great mosh pit. And it all started with the move against Get Amheat, who nearly died there. He had to use the Divine Shield on himself, and Lucifron, he had his back, moved in immediately, and was just like, I got this, bro. Goes in with the power slide, uses the mosh pit, locks them down, and that's the turnaround. The level 13 talents helping out as well. We have, of course, Groupies taken now on 13. We're seeing With the Wind on Sylvanas, Shrink Grey, that wind shear talent as well. And of course, when we're looking at Force, that he is going for that full auto attack damage, so it is the giant killer.
Yeah, the Grace of Air on that Thrall is going to be really useful for his sustain in the game. It gives him the double Frostwolf resilience stacks when he has the the Wind Fury activated. So it's what we were talking about earlier, the European style of keeping those melee assassins in the front line, keeping them nice and healthy and sustained.
Yeah, and once again, we have a bit of an attempt to catch a hero, and this time Lowell gets caught. Thrall is down. That was brilliant by TCM. That was exactly what they needed. That force wall and Tacit are so important. They were trying to use the Mighty Gust to save Thrall, but it didn't work out. And now even though there are 2 levels and the talent ahead, they can't really fight for this. It's a 5 versus 4 situation on map. Thrall is going to be down for another 18 seconds. And here comes TCM. They're trying to use that small opportunity that they have to start a comeback. They go in again, but Muradin is in a bit of trouble here. Needs to be careful, gets shielded and jumps out.
TCM can afford to be this aggressive though, due to the fact that heroics are still down for Liquid. Only 4 seconds till the Mighty Gust is up though, but Moshpit still down for another 5 from now. But they were able to be that aggressive due to the fact it was still on cooldown after that incredible play. But it did allow them to be aggressive once they were respawned.
Yeah, War Chief, Green Jesus is back and coming back into play now. Of course, this is the chance that TeamLiquid has now to punish the opponent's Immortal and take it down. Remaballer and Chrisplosion are attempting to burst down TeamLiquid's Immortal a bit faster. Rotation of Vortex, though. Mighty Gust buying TeamLiquid a bit more time, and they will secure another Immortal for themselves. They are going to get this one, even though it was a very nice attempt by TCM. The shields on it are going to be rather low, though.
Yeah, nice move though by Falstad with that Mighty Gust to just get that delay, which is what allowed them to pick that up at all. Now we're going to see TeamLiquid group up in the bottom lane due to the fact they already have mercenaries in the top lane, which currently TCM are going to spend a little bit of time to at least start to clear up or at least get that top lane pushing, so they don't have to worry about it as much. Now we see them wrapping around from above to maybe catch some of the members of TeamLiquid.
Yeah, they're trying to jump into the back. There are 13 talents now as well, and here they come. Preloaded shields already on the heroes. TeamLiquid trying to get a position. Mystical Spear on Sonya. We have the Pixie Dust talent started on Brightwing, and Tesla heading straight into Prescience. The Immortal, on the other hand, is not impressed at all by anything that happens. He goes straight through the structures, takes the wall down, goes for well, and this is potentially going to be keep number 2 that will fall here.
Yeah, the Immortal basically the opposite of a Punisher. Nice Mighty Gust to separate everyone out. The Mosh Pit not going to land there, but remember, also able to Whirlwind out of danger and is now moving in onto Lucifer. The Hyperion not really aimed too well here. We're seeing Chris having to re-angle until they take down Muradin.
Great Sundering being used here to isolate him for a second. ETC is moving in again. Does he have the slide? He doesn't, but they go for the killing. They get a double kill. Tacit on Reyna, both dead, and this is the chance for TeamLiquid to enter the game. In he comes, he takes it down, dies himself. Totally worth it though. 4 versus 1. TeamLiquid, they move onto the core, and this is going to be the lead in the best of 5 series here for TeamLiquid. TCM just not strong enough to take them down here. Great moves, 11 kills against 3, and this is of course the victory for TeamLiquid. TCM is trying, but they won't succeed.
Yeah, they may take down Gurtenher before the end, but it's going to be 2-0 too late. That is GG. And TeamLiquid will take game number 1.
Really solid performance by them here. Very well played. I mean, we had TCM with a nice attempt actually to come back into this, I have to say. I mean, that one move against Thrall was very good, where they were able to kill him as the Immortal starts, but in this case, TeamLiquid just a tiny bit too strong.
Yeah, they had a lot of control after that early game where TCM looking really solid, able to get that early kill. But they weren't able to keep it up into the late game, thanks to just some incredible TeamLiquid play around the Immortals, and then the efficiency out of that first Immortal, able to get a keep 12 minutes, how early was that, into the game?
I mean, the best part was, I think, or the really key moment in this game was definitely when they were able to secure themselves this level 10 so early. Yeah. They had the fights for the Immortals starting, and especially when that halftime show between the Immortals started and the Immortals repositioned. They moved heroes into the lane, soaked experience, and TCM didn't really do that. So they didn't counteract that. They were still sitting in the middle because they said, hey, we can take this Immortal. Turns out that they weren't able to get it. So all of a sudden, they were not only a level down, but also a talent down. And when that Immortal then pushed in, TeamLiquid used the opportunity to just fight with an advantage, take a few early kills, and it just started to snowball from there. And all of a sudden, they got the keep. The fort was nearly already destroyed. Sylvanas, of course, in these situations is just absolute. I mean, she is so damn good. It's crazy. She's really amazing.
Yeah, and in that last fight as well, what we saw at the end, where TCM actually had a fairly good angle on that. They tried to do a really good circle around with two people coming from the base, and then we saw 2 people coming from the side. However,
Chris,
immediate Mighty Gust into Force Wall, just no, we don't want to fight here. That's not what we're interested in. And that's what they did. They were able to turn it around. Sonya had her whirlwind away from the fight, so she didn't have to sustain, when she came back into it, and that just didn't work out for them.
With Merton, the same thing. He was so low,
Yeah.
but he had a chance to jump away, and then Thrall sees that, and Lowell reacts immediately. He sees the opportunity, uses the Sundering, isolates the one hero. They burst him
Yeah.
down. There's no real tank left. They only have Sonya, and that's just the moment that the TeamLiquid chose to say, okay, now we've got this. Immortal is already going for the keep. We have Sylvanas. We're going to disable the structure again. We're going to go in, and they got kill after kill after kill for this. Vortex even flying in, then again with Falstad. And
Guys,
it was
I
pretty good.
got this.
Yeah,
Takes
I
down the
got
Viking
this.
at the cost of his own life, but it was only Sonya, and saying only Sonya is still quite risky. We actually saw her take down Uther at the end there, but taking down one hero is not enough to stop the other three just ending the game on your call.
Jumps in, kills Brightwing, dies, and is like, worth it.
Got it. If that was pretty much any other game, it would just be hashtag worth in all chat.
Yeah, definitely. Really well played, and of course, the 1-0 lead now for them.
All right. So, do we know what game map number 2 is going to be?
I guess we're going to get the
Okay.
info any second now, but of course for TCM, they have, well, maybe they have a couple of strategies prepared for this. We know at least today which substitute player they're going to use. They're playing with Davis here,
Yeah.
very, very strong. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting match in general. I mean, TeamLiquid, as we said before, they are the favorite here, but maybe TCM can make some plays. They have a setup that is quite strong. The players have been around for a long time. They have been on very good teams as well. If they get a good draft, they can definitely take a map here.
It's going to be very interesting. And this isn't the only game we have. We do have after this, we're going to have Fnatic versus G2 Esports. I was like, wait, nope, that's right, because I was thinking LOL, the same mistake that we have both made repeatedly.
It's really confusing. You
It
have
is.
these guys shifting around
But that
between
for
teams
so
that we've
long.
casted for like a year with that setup, and then you look
Yeah.
at them in game, and every now and then it's just like slips on you. It's like, wait a second, which team is he on right now? Is it Fnatic? Is it TeamLiquid? But yeah.
It's going to be Fnatic versus G2 Esports after this. That is also going to be a pretty fantastic game.
Fnatic is winning everything right now, but
Yeah.
they go up against G2 Esports, and G2 Esports is quite strong. They are very experienced. They can win a game like this. But when you look at Fnatic, I mean, these guys are very, very scary. They can play so many combos, so many different styles. But what always impresses me the most is just the aggression that we see from them. Those traps that they set all over
Yeah.
the map. And they had a couple of compositions where they were able to snipe an opponent's hero like within half a second. It was just brutal. You see the hero just walking past, thinking about like, I don't know what, and suddenly gets jumped by 4 heroes and zip just appears from the map. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, they are pretty deadly with that. So, what do we do now? We're going straight into another draft, or are we heading into a quick break?
No, we have our draft, and
All right.
then we have our next game that up. But we currently still, players are still nearly ready with the draft, so we probably have the map as well. I'm going to get info about that in just a bit. We had actually a few different styles, and we don't have the team here today, but I want to mention that as well, because we always talk about aggressive compositions. We're talking
Yeah.
about compositions that try to jump in, you eliminate a hero. But just the other day, I casted a bit of Team Rocket again, and they actually
yes.
start to play a style again, bring that back, where they have a setup that is incredibly powerful to just roam on the map, take structures down with a Zagara, even Sylvanas, don't really go into team fights. It's a very cool style to observe. It's not as kill heavy
Yeah.
and as fight heavy as what we've just seen now and what I actually expect throughout the series. But it's actually nice to see that coming back into the meta, that something like this happens. Because if you are a good team, you need to have incredibly good shot calling for that.
Yeah.
But it's very cool what you can do when you just roam around an opponent, especially when you run a hero, for example, like the Lost Vikings, which for such a situation are absolutely perfect since they can soak experience while the rest of the team is attempting to burst down structures.
Well, that is a thing that back before they were Rocket, back when they were well met, when they had Nomi on the team and people like that, like the original
Yeah.
of their roster, that was more similar to the style they had. Only instead of roaming around killing buildings, they were roaming around killing heroes, as they were one of the first teams to popularize at the time, before it was very heavily nerfed, the Stitches into Tyrande or Uther combo, where you would hook someone into an immediate stun and just delete it from the map. Like they, on the Garden of Terror especially, in the mid lane, there is a bit of a single person corridor. They just got one person either side of that at the beginning of the game, and then would try to hook someone from behind their gate and get an early game kill by body blocking them. One of the funniest things, but that is the style that the kind of style we had, where they would just get the cheeky kills. In this case, they're going for cheeky building kills.
One of the cool things also about like the old well-met setup was, I mean, We always make a bit of fun about Nomi for the Storm Balls. He's really perfect when
He
it
was
comes
very
to
good. He was so much better than like either of us, but it was very funny to call him out. On
Yeah,
that.
like his Storm Ball sometimes it's just like the easier the Storm Ball is to hit, the more
Exactly.
likely the chance that he's going to miss it.
He was the person who would hit every Stitches hook and miss a
Exactly.
good chunk of Storm Bolts.
But
It
he
was amazing.
hits every Stitches hook, and the cool thing about like Nomi and the way that he plays Muradin, Nomi was the one player that from the start has always said Muradin is awesome.
Yes, he
Like,
always knew it.
Every
It was-
time, exactly. He knew it already. Nobody was playing Muradin, but Nomi
Yeah,
already
it was all
was there.
about Arthas back then.
Exactly, and said like, nope, Muradin, he's good. And now look at what we are seeing in the game. We see only Muradins being picked
Yep.
like all the time, and Nomi must probably just like sit at home, look at this game, and be like,
Called it.
hipster style, called it, yeah.
Pretty much nothing has been changed on Muradin for a very long time, but I called it. Actually, has he had like any serious changes?
He had a
in
couple of
patch
small ones, but like nothing
Yeah.
like too crazy. So we had, for example, Reverberation being even a little bit better against
Yeah, that's true.
against Assassin. That's pretty cool. But yeah, stuff like that definitely happened. Well, we have the picks and bans for the next game starting, so we're going to jump into that. We could theoretically, in a best of 5, also see a map like Garden of Terror today, and that would lead us potentially into the Lost Vikings again, because of course TeamLiquid loves to play the hero there. For now, it's though TCM Gaming who has the first ban. Again, Kelthas, Tirana are the two that are very likely to be banned out. If those two are not banned, then usually what we are seeing is a bit of a focus on banning out ETC to get rid of that Mosh Pit combo. And I could see TCM trying to do something like this, just simply because they're so incredible, or they had in the last game a bit of bad luck with that LTC. I mean, that Mosh Pit against 4 heroes.
Yeah, it
That
was,
was incredible.
so good. And that is the kind of thing we see from TeamLiquid and also from Fnatic a lot, which is why they do run the ETCs quite commonly. But as you are rightly pointing out, a Falstad ban, TCM, they were not happy with those Mighty Gusts. They were very, very strong. And TeamLiquid prioritizing that Tyrande over the Kale Pass here.
Now, as I already emphasized during the last draft, the Kelthas first pick makes sense with also that Falstad banned out. But as I already emphasized in the game before, Falstad getting more and more popular on Europe. Was popular for quite some time, but he just moves up in priority. In this case, he's even banned out. But there's another reason for that. It's not only that the hero itself is very good, it's also that on this map in particular, we have an extremely, extremely strong Falstad play, thanks to, of course, those bosses that you can also take and grab away from your opponent with a good Mighty Gust. So he's even better on Cursed Hollow than he is on any other map. TeamLiquid, they take the opportunity here to go straight again into that ETC and Uther composition. Muradin is most likely going to be one of the heroes that we will see for TCM again, since he is one of the best frontliners that you can actually pick in this setup. We could theoretically see him comboed, well, maybe even, I wanted kind to say maybe going into a second frontliner already, like a Tyrell or a Sonya, but that would be a heavy commitment. We could, but again, see that Tassadar, for example, which is very nice here to get you vision on the map, especially when it comes to those curse fights for the tribute. But yeah, so a Tassadar and a Muradin would probably be pretty sweet. But I'm kind of sure that at least Muradin is going to be picked. And there's Tassadar.
Yeah, so I agree with you completely. The Muradin being picked now is not what's going to happen. They're going, once again, very aggressively for that Sonya composition. And there is an argument to be made for this. In fact, TeamLiquid unlikely to pick Muradin and ETC, but it is possible to just try and counteract that Sonya, and they could obviously ban it out here.
I think they could ban Muradin and they could pick Tyrael, because I feel that TCM...
that'd be strong.
Yeah, my thought process is exactly, because I think right now TCM, I mean, I like the way that they are going for aggression. TeamLiquid goes the other round. They say they ban out Tyrael here. The reasoning behind why I said I think they ban out Muradin is because if they pick the Tyrael away, and they can do that in the next pick, then they are in a very comfortable position where they have just made sure that nobody can jump in with that Sonya. There's no counterplay against their Mosh Pit either. But in this case, they are apparently so annoyed by a potential Tyrael being picked that they ban him out. Another reason why they do that is that especially Chris hates Tyrael with a passion on this map because of the level 16 talent, because of the holy ground that can steal a boss away. So a TeamLiquid, instead of picking the hero, they just make sure that they ban him out. They still could go into that Muradin next to an ETC. It's not something that we see too often though. Normally it's really ETC plus Tyrael. But if they don't pick Muradin now, then TCM is going to say, thank you very much, we're going to take that.
Yeah, and TCM banning out that Thrall as well kind of leads toward this, because I expect that Liquid were comfortable with that due to the fact that Thrall with a Giant Killer maybe could have just torn through a Muradin as long as he could get out of that reverberation. Instead, Liquid sticking with that range damage now and that very powerful silence in the form of that Sylvanas. Very good at getting to that Kael'Thas in the backline and comboing with the Mosh Pit really well. But the question is, like you said, do they pick that Muradin to give them the double tank composition and then go with maybe another range damage to make a more classic style of composition with the double warrior, double damage?
In range damage, we have still a Reina over here. The one hero that I could also see, but which they haven't played in a while, is Zagara. Since you can be very strong, not only because of the Sylvanas and Zagara comp, but because of the map in particular. I like the ban on TCM. I haven't really commented on Thrall yet, but I like that they ban him out. You already touched on the subject a bit. But what I feel is really strong also about the ban is that Team Liquid has, of course, the